Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Underground Network, broadcasting live from Los Angeles, California. We are here every day, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. local time, 11 p.m. Greek time or Eastern European time. Please do not forget, if you're watching this program, do not forget to subscribe. It's helpful. It helps us grow, and it helps us propagate. It helps us expand this idea that the power can return to the people, strictly to the people, without any sort of political affiliation to a party, to ideology, to a polarized system of left and right, or Republican Democrat, or secular theocratic, or any of this. The people want the same things everywhere in the world, wherever they may be. Most people want a peaceful, democratic living. And sometimes they just don't know who they're voting for. Most of the times they're voting against themselves. So this is, in the very near future, a platform trying to get this power back to the people, bring back democracy in an original form, but with the new means that we have at our disposal. Meaning technology. And because we are in Los Angeles, we are in Hollywood, we also are approaching this from an entertainment angle, which is very important to us. Some of us do come from an entertaining background, so it's just made by the people. We don't need to be specialists. We know that, and we are happy not to be specialists, because that allows us not to be sort of boring, or helps us use a language that most of us understand. We don't know any other language anyway. I have stated several times that what I'm trying to do here is just speak up, speak about me, speak on my behalf. So everything I say has no agenda behind it, except for the platform which I'm using, but it's independent. I can say whatever I want, and I don't have to account to anyone for it. But this is more to showcase what Underground Network is. It's more to do that rather than draw a line or draw a sort of ideology, because Underground Network is just a platform with a certain, of course, it has a constitution. It wants to. It's a democratic platform. It's about democracy. It's about freedom and about power to the people, and that's about it. That's all there is. That's all the agenda. So once again, before I go into today's live discussion, I want to remind everyone to please subscribe on youtube.com/underground network, youtube.com/underground network. You may also go on the website, which is as of today, but it will soon open to the public. But you can subscribe you can register to be notified of the launch, and that's another way to have you there, to be there first. It's going to be an interesting ride. So some of you are here. I'm going to get to your messages in a little while. Today's live is going to be rather short, because there are people in the other room that I have to go meet. Really, really interesting people, filmmakers. The director. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm going to announce her when she's able to come and do an interview with me. But basically is the author. She is the director of a documentary and the producer, I think, which basically talks about money and politics in the USA. We're very honored to have her here, and she today she and her collaborator accepted to be interviewed by us, so on this program. So very excited about this, and I have to go attend the meeting, so I'll be very brief. Today we had the Eurogroup once again. It's hard to keep up because it finished a little while ago, but people are still writing about it, and so there's no, as far as I understand, the only thing that's clear is that, and let's just say it loud and clear, it's that's it. Now we understand. There's no reason why we should hide behind our little finger, like we say in Greek. This government has absolutely capitulated, is following the line of the previous governments. Just a little thing that's almost anecdotal, but it's important to show the type of climate that now reigns in the European Union, is that apparently most European officials, most EU officials, as well as I think Mr. Schäuble, the German finance minister, they all used the word troika today, and most reporters have been reporting on Twitter that that's very strange that most of the European officials are using the word troika. This has been such an issue, but it shows you how they are almost they're beyond teasing the Greek government. They are beyond trying to annoy the government. They're probably almost making fun of it, which is absolutely, of course, it's a huge lack of respect toward the Greek people. I'm not trying to defend the government. We all know that we've all witnessed this whole game of words throughout these past weeks. I myself last Friday analyzed in Greek a number of words and what they really mean, that have been in use by Mr. Varoufakis, for example. But so we all know that this whole issue around words has become central, at least for two people, Mr. Varoufakis and Mr. Tsipras, and we as people do not agree with that, because we would like to be told things by their names. We would like to know, we would like a clear language, at least I would like a clear, clean cut, straightforward a statement of what the situation is. But this is not what we've been given by the Greek government yet. What is going on at the European Union level and the way this whole issue is treated, just the mere fact that many choose to use the word troika today at the Eurogroup again and again, coming from different EU officials, is almost like this has been like a little game that the entire country, the government probably first, we've become a laughing stock, and that is unacceptable. I mean, there's much more one can say about those things, but let's get to the core issue. And then I'm gonna just sum it all up. Because I think this is where we are today. I'm going through the Twitter of a journalist who writes for Capital GR. I'm going through her timeline. Apparently the discussion on Greece was very short, and most people, including Mr. Dijsselbloem, said that a lot of time has been wasted, and we have agreed that there's going to be no waste of time no longer. So hurry up, folks. Just get on with the reforms. Just strangle your people real fast, because we're losing our patience and our temper, actually. So apparently at the press conference that followed, Mr. Dijsselbloem announced that there's going to be technical teams from bailout monitoring institutions head-to-head, heading to Athens as of Wednesday. So now we call them technical teams from bailout monitoring institutions. that's the word for troika. That's the word for institutions. That's the word technical team is basically those people who were formerly called troika, I guess. Mr. Moscovici himself at the press conference said that, oh, at this Eurogroup we just chatted a little. Basically, that's what he said. He says I don't have any. We at the Eurogroup do not have any sort of technical power. Not power. It's like we're not entitled to any sort of technical assessment. So he just said, we are just here basically to make sure that those papers are signed, that those reforms are signed, and that we get the promise and the assurance by the Greek finance minister, by the Greek government, that all that we want is going to happen, and not only happen, but really, really fast as well. So that's what he said. It's like, we're only here basically to just get those contracts, and then on to you guys. On to you, technical team slash troika slash institution. You go back to Greece also, because apparently Mr. Varoufakis said that there's not going to be any troika. He wants to avoid the troika being in Greece. So I think the government issued a statement that the troika is over. I mean, this is a joke. This is a bad joke. This is a big bad joke. But anyway, I'm going to summarize the whole thing, because I think now we're done. I think now we know what's expecting us. If we go down that path, there is always a possibility that because of the fear of the base of the people who voted for Syriza, and I'm talking about the base because I think the majority of the people who voted, or at least most of the people who voted, did not vote on the government to just basically go there and make a U-turn, go there and follow the previous government. It voted against this, but I think those promises are broken by now. It's clear. So, little bit of a summing up of the whole thing, and I'm gonna go pretty fast today, but this is what's going on. The Greek debt is not a debt of the Greek people. It was knowingly the banks, the elite, as well as the European Union, high risk. All those people lended to high-risk kleptocrats, oligarchs, Greek politicians, bankers, you name it. This was the scheme. It's not the debt of the Greek people. So most of the euros that were lent to Greece, they finally, most likely, no, we now know, but we still say most likely until we get final proof, which we probably will never get, but we know, we have enough just reasons to know, enough proof that all this money, which was given to kleptocrats, loaned to kleptocrats, oligarchs and politicians and high-risk people, ended up in some Swiss accounts, in probably estates in London, Paris, and offshore companies, and it basically, this whole money did not generate any income. There was no way it could, since once it was loaned to these people, it was just taken back out and put in those bank accounts or in this sort of real estate investment in big cities of the world. So as a result, and this is my position, and this is stated by numerous analysts, the Greek debt is illegitimate and it should be declared as such. It was falsely imposed on the Greek people. So it remains illegitimate. It remains illegal. So I'm starting from what happened. Now, the problem is that from the beginnings of the negotiations, Syriza did not call on the legitimacy of the debt. it totally, even though before the elections they promised that it was going to proceed with a haircut, once in power, it never ever questioned the legality, the legitimacy of the debt. So, and on it went. It also, very, very important, does not clearly specify, does not clarify, does not point out at, does not identify particular classes or enterprises or companies or whatever, or individuals who really should pay that debt. It lacks the clear identification, except for a couple times hearing the word oligarchs, which sort of hypnotizes the people. Oh, they're going to go after the oligarchs. Syriza has not clearly identified the real responsible, the real class who has brought the country to where we are, and it's not even certain that it's going to go after it. It's not. It looks like a lot of words are being said, but no action is being taken. The other thing that happened is that Syriza, even though it challenged the word austerity, and it's on that card that it got elected, did not challenge the euro. So this whole duality has created confusion, and it's almost like people like myself, I feel totally deceived. I mean, if I had voted for Syriza, which I did not, but I would have felt very, very deceived, because they said one thing and they're opposite at the same time, because now we know for sure austerity can't be solved within the euro. So that's another issue. Syriza has accepted the membership of the EU from the beginning. It never ever questioned it. I mean, not the EU, the Eurozone. It never talks about any solution outside the Eurozone. And it does so in the name of realism. If you've noticed, it's like we want to be realistic. We want to have concessions. We want to. This is the whole argument, and one wonders, if one is on the ground, what type of realism they're talking about. What realism are they talking about when the issues on the ground are so unbearably inhuman, dehumanizing, and unjust, and it's only getting worse. So this whole change, this whole evolution of Syriza, I believe, is happening because there is a centralized power. Basically the core team, the prime minister, and the finance minister do sort of have a specific line, as we know, that does not go along with the rest. And so they stick to that. It's kind of a centralized power. We can see that. We've seen that before in Greece. Namely, back in the day, years ago, decades ago, Andreas Papandreou was kind of a centralized power within its own party, and we are seeing similar patterns today. For example, Zoe Constantopoulou has a completely different approach to everything. She talks about democracy, she talks about constitution, she talks about going after people who are responsible for contracts that inflated the debt. So she's got a completely different approach. Yet it's the centralized approach that prevails. Of course, you're going to tell me this is the prime minister and the foreign minister, but still. So now, on the other, this is what we have in Greece. On the other hand, what we have on the European Union side, and I think this pretty much resumes it all, is that we have, on behalf of our partners, unconditional surrender. They do not. They don't even want to discuss. They're even making fun of the handling of everything. As I said, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the program, unconditional surrender. That's what they want. Total capitulation, total. They just want even I would say humiliation. And what they're asking for, and this is another point, is they want the all the reforms, the structural reforms and quotation mark policies, practices that were in place already by the previous government, New Democracy and PASOK. They just want the continuation of it, and that's the second point. So surrender and humiliation and continuation of the previous policies, which, by the way, they're getting. For this reason, Syriza has absolutely given up on any sort of social reforms. It doesn't talk about, I haven't heard anything lately regarding minimum wage or increasing pension or health or education or all these matters. All I'm hearing is about this citizen smart card, which is basically turning the poor, the lower classes, the classes that are near poverty, it turns them into it's a sort of charity. And this is really this is horrible. This is going back to the previous century. This was done in even 2 centuries ago. This was done in Victorian, I don't know, more than that. This is done in Nazi Germany before when Hitler got into power. This happened in England with the workhouses. So this is happening in 21st century Greece. Is that a solution? So that's horrible. But the key point is Syriza has given up on social reforms. That's the third point. And the fourth is that they are ready to follow strictly all the directives from the institutions. The way they're formulated, the way they're written, they are following it. And when they don't, like today, they were told by the Eurogroup, you have to do it fast and you have to be specific. So the European partners want specifics, meaning if we don't get exactly what we asked, even from the previous governments, nothing will happen. So that's how bad it is. And then lastly, what's going on with the primary budget? That's a very important issue. As we know, the budget is everything for the people, for the economy. They want the primary surplus. It's very vague. It's like, oh, for this year we don't want that much of a surplus. They say that they want 1.5%, but starting next year, 2016, we want 4.5. That is huge. That is a disaster. This is what the Europeans want, and this is what they're getting. It looks like this is what they're getting again, unless something happens and everything just changes course. Which I think the only way that can be changed is if the people do something, because otherwise I see no light at the end of the tunnel. A crisis is meant to end at some point. Greece is in a perpetual crisis, and that is what the European partners want. They don't want Greece outside of any sort of crisis until it has sold off completely. Greece has to sell off all of its assets. That is the deal. So basically, I believe that Syriza is, in political terms, committing suicide. I don't need any more time, unlike some of you who believe that, they should be given more time. I think it's very clear right now. If they go down that path, and they are going down that path, unless something changes, unless someone stops them, unless the people do something, I don't know, unless whatever happens, if they go down that path, it's suicidal for them. It's a political suicide, and they are basically like they have. And I know I've spoken to a lot of their supporters and voters that have alienated their supporters already. Some of them who are watching closely, because there is a bunch of supporters of Syriza who don't have a clear image of what's going on. Propaganda in the media now is worse than ever, because now you have previous neoliberal propaganda parrots agreeing with lefties. It's disheartening, it's horrible, but it's happening. So you have across the board unified information. It's incredible to see that. If one has been following for years, it's amazing to see that, to see hardcore leftist, supposedly revolutionary people online, on Twitter, bloggers, change and sort of, you know, in a very amicable way cooperate with their prior, up until recently, enemies, you know, journalistic enemies. They are totally in line with each other right now, and they're propagating the same information. So for those who have not really watched closely, I understand, because the propaganda, I think, is really worse than ever in a way. Whether it's intentional propaganda, or it's just happening because people don't have access to information. And they're just perpetuating the information. So no debt write-offs. We can forget about that. That's no longer in Syriza's plan. No economic growth whatsoever. We hear this thing about European Investment Bank, and that scheme, and Mr. Varoufakis talking about boutique sort of beer bars. I don't know what kind of growth is he thinking about. Is more of a lifestyle growth that he's thinking about. Greece has tremendous power, tremendous riches and wealth, and everyone knows it. So real economy probably doesn't matter that much to Mr. Varoufakis, and people look like they don't matter much either. I've seen some pictures with him and the other European partners of the Eurogroup, and smiling, having a great time, and I'm only thinking about us, the people. So anyway, what we do have, except for semantic changes, though, you know, changes in the words and connotations, is our sovereignty, our limited sovereignty, our no sovereignty, basically, because it's not even limited anymore. Now it's getting more blunt. We still have. We have no sovereignty, and we know it, and we know that it's going to go on like this because of the technical teams, because of dictates, and because of all these policies. Finished sovereignty. You can kiss it goodbye if we really do go down that path. It looks like Syriza has agreed to most of everything, except for those they want specifics, so they haven't written the specifics. I'm not going to go into this spying law of tax evaders, tourists becoming spies for tax evaders. I really cannot comment on such a thing. I cannot for the life of me comment. I just saw some journalists at Bloomberg make fun of this and saying, oh, hey, whatever her name was, one journalist told his colleague, so when we go to Mykonos this summer, we can become spies. And then the Greek correspondent of Bloomberg in Greece told them, oh yeah, and you'll get a free 2-month holiday. So it's like a short-term contract. Are we serious? Are we serious? Where do we live? Where do we live? What kind of regime is that? Anyway, so something happened to the live. No, it's fine. It's back here. So another thing that's very important is, and which gets to the core of the issue, is that Syriza has suspended, even though it said it's suspended ongoing, temporarily at least, it's suspended privatizations. The one that have started are going to go on. And I think that's what the Eurogroup is asking for when it says we want to be more specific. It's their issue is privatizations, that is their biggest issue, because it's the assets, it's the public assets as well as the private, that is the core issue of what they're looking for. All of Syriza's moderate proposals are done. It's over. So, to conclude, strangulation of Syriza is a long process of the assassination of Greece, which has started a long time ago, and it's going on pretty strong. I'm very pessimistic in a way, as far as at least this government goes. I have huge optimism as far as what the people might be looking to do in the near future. I don't think the people are going to take this. I think the people have raised for way less than this in the past. So it looks like this is the pattern that now it's going to be followed, because Germany and Brussels do not want any sort of dissenting voice. And this is, for me, the conclusion. This is, they're showing everyone, not only the Greeks, not only Greece, they're showing everyone that any sort of dissent in Europe is unacceptable, and they can kill it. They will kill it if anyone tries to sort of do it. Any dissent is out of the question for them. So I think that bailout is a euphemism for absolute colonization and anti-democratic European Union, anti-democratic Europe institutions, whatever you want to call it, has shown its true face. I mean, it's been showing it for a while, but now I hope Mr. Syriza, Mr. Tsipras and Mr. Varoufakis know it. Well, they do, but they don't care. That's another issue. But this is a conclusion. I have no doubt in my mind things are going terribly, terribly wrong, and I hope people who still believe that no, they're better than the previous ones, I hope they wake up to reality. That was my take on what's going on. You guys have been around and are talking to each other. Hello, Irini, Vageli. You guys are, I hope you're not fighting. People are saying that whatever you may say, they're just, and this is Mario saying that they have sold everything. They have sort of come up with a way of pretending to fight. I kind of agree with you, Maria. They're pretending to fight for the people, in front of the people, the European partners and some officials, Greek officials. They're pretending that there's this whole fight negotiation. In reality, I think they've given everything, and everything else is just to save face. So now the question is, why do people accept that? I don't know. Vageli's joined. Hello, everyone. Everyone's pretty much disappointed on this timeline. Where is my reaction to this? What, Maria? Which reaction are? Oh, okay. Oh, Maria is asking. So what one does? What does one do? Okay. Is that the question? If I understood. Okay, says Maria. What do we do? Okay, this is what we do. We just get together in our small village, town, city, island. We get together, we inform people, we gather information, we start talking about this out loud, and this is what we do. There's nothing else for now that we can do. I think but we should keep that strength, and we have to do that. We have to. I used to be very polite with people. I do turn away, and I do stop talking to people when I see that there is no hope. But yesterday, I'll tell you just a little story. I found myself talking to two Greek guys who happened to be visiting Los Angeles, and the discussion was not in relation to what's going on right now because I couldn't go there, but it was more related to history. So I got two different reactions. One person was very open to listen, not to me only, but to also to the other person. He was just listening to the exchange. But here we were, two other people talking, and I was saying one thing and the person was saying something completely unrelated. So it was related to Greek history, Greek-Turkish history, and blah, blah, blah. You can understand this is a very hot topic, even among Greeks. So forget about the two of us having sort of a heated debate. The third person was listening, and at some point the person I was talking to got up to go get some water, and I turned to the third person and I said, am I crazy? I'm falling on deaf ears. I'm saying something. I have arguments. I am bringing some tangible proof with historical facts, and the person, doesn't listen. And he's saying, yes, that's exactly what's going on. You're saying something, but the other person has some ideas and he wants to just say them out loud. He just has those ideas. He is not trying to, this is not an exchange. This is ideas. Still, I have to tell you this. The person came back from going to get the water. He came back and he said something that made me realize that despite the whole, let's say, the way he was approaching the discussion before, he had come back and had said, wow, I'm very impressed that you know so many things. So he didn't say I agree with you all of a sudden. He didn't came back as a changed, completely transformed person, but by a couple sentences he said, it made me realize that he still listened to what I said. So that gives me hope about that. As much as you sometimes you can go desperate, you always can try to just say what you know. Just say what you know without believing what you know is absolutely universal or the absolute truth. But at least for some of the people who are stuck in boxes or stuck with preconceived ideas, at least it helps both them and yourself. It helps yourself, like, teach you how to convey some things that you might know from experience or you've read, or it helps you grow in that and becoming a better listener and a better speaker. But it also helps even the most prejudiced, the most stuck, a person who's stuck, it helps them slowly but surely get out of their box. So anyway, I wanted to finish on that note, and that's the story. But yes, Dimitris, you're right. You're absolutely right. Underground network, this is what we do. You have no idea what we're up to. And we're a little crazy here, so we're going to make it happen. We are making it happen already. It's just a matter of time. It's a way of bringing people together, regardless of how they agree or disagree, because we all agree on the basics. All of us, even the biggest, most prejudiced, most stuck, most narrow-minded people, they still want the same things. And that's how I'm going to end today. Thank you for watching, all of you. I will see you tomorrow, and I will be talking about another movie tomorrow that I've been watching. So more on this tomorrow. Take care. Have a good night. Pretty short today, but I have to go. Bye. I have to stop.